Hi everyone, I am Dr. Kumar. Today I am going to I am going to present you a short video about our subject public debt in financial economics. So here I am going to give you a short idea about this subject. So here I am going to introduce the concept public debt. So here public debt refers to the total borrowings of the government from internal and external sources to finance expenditure when revenue are insufficient. So it is an important role, it is an important tool for economic stability and development. Public debt helps in financing infrastructure, welfare, and various schemes and various projects and budget deficits of the government. So here I am going to brief you about the sources of public borrowing. So here the public debt is otherwise called public borrowing. So the public borrowing also has two types. One is internal sources, another one external sources. So in internal sources, borrowing from commercial banks, issuing government bonds and securities, treasury bills, public provident fund and saving schemes. So in the external sources, loans from the foreign government, loan from the international financial organizations like IMF, International Monetary Fund, and World Bank, it is otherwise called IBRD, and Asian Development Bank, and various banks from the foreign country, even for the private corporate banks in foreign countries also. So apart from this, the foreign bonds and grants received by the government from the external side. So now I am going to brief you about objectives of public debt. So here the objectives can be classified into 5. 1. Finance budget deficit, infrastructural development, economic stability, and social welfare programs, and monetary control. These are the important objectives of public debt. So here I am going to explain one by one. First, finance budget deficit. So here covering shortfall in government revenue. Even sometimes the government has the revenue in limited way, but they planned expenditure something over than their income. So when the government receipt lower than the government expenditure, that time the budget deficit arises. So to cover the budget deficit, the public debt are used. Public borrowings also can be used. Next one, infrastructural development. So here the infrastructural projects, railway projects, roads, power plants, and education, health sector, expenditure on health sector, expenditure on infrastructure, expenditure on various schemes and programs, which are all very important for economic development. So here, okay, for that also the second objective. Third one, economic stability. Here, regulating inflation and demand. Regulating inflation and demand in the economic development. And another one, the important fourth objective, social welfare programs. So here the government is going to spend huge amount of money on social welfare programs, such as to maintain public health, to education, for the expenditure on education. So in the education also there are three tiers. There are school education, and collegiate and university education, and technical education. Okay, for these are all the government has to spend more. So there are many education institutions run by the government. So okay, so then, and subsidies. Their subsidies are one of the important part. Nowadays the government subsidies day by day increasing for the various sectors. So here subsidies. So here the fourth important objective, social welfare programs. And last one, monetary control. So monetary control refers managing money supply and inflation. Okay, for these are all the purpose, for all the objectives, the public debt. So next I am going to explain you about importance of public debt. So the importance of the public debt also divided into 5. Number 1, bridges revenue. Second one, encourages economic growth. Third one, helps in employment generation. Fourth one, supports fiscal policy. And last one, ensures social welfare. Here I am going to give you a short note about this. The importance of public debt. Number 1, bridges revenue. It helps the government manage budgetary needs. Second one, encourages economic growth, funds large-scale developmental projects. So helps in employment generation, stimulates various sectors, support fiscal policy reforms, provides control over inflation and deflation. So ensures social welfare, that is, funds schemes for poverty alleviation programs, okay, and healthcare and education. Okay, these are all the importance for the public debt. Now I am going to brief you about the effects on public debt. Okay, so the effects on public debt in the economy has the crucial role. Yet the effects also divided into two: positive effects, negative effects. So here the positive effects are funds, economic growth and infrastructure, helps in managing inflation and economic fluctuation, provide financial stability. These are the positive effects of public debt. Yet the negative effects. So high debt burden lead to increased taxation, interest payments reduce funds for the development, external dependency affects sovereignty. So these are the various effects on public debt. Now, public debt of central government. Here I am going to brief you very shortly about this. So borrowings by the union government to finance national level projects in various schemes is very important. So here the government also run many big projects at national level, constructing highways, constructing harbors, expanding the airports and creating the new airports, airline services, and improving the railway services and roads projects. Okay, so here there are the examples. The source to make to complete these or all these kind of projects, the government using the sources: bonds, treasury bills, market loans, foreign loans managed by the Reserve Bank of India. So example also here I have given Indian government bonds or treasury bills. So next I am going to explain you about public debt of state governments. So borrowings by the state government to finance state level projects. So here the state government has its own resources. Example, mortgage borrowings, loan from the central bank, and loan the government grants central government and international financial bodies. So states has limited borrowing capacity compared to the central government or union government. So here redemption of public debt. So the concept of redemption of public debt is very important because the government keep on borrowing money from the either internal or external. So it has to be repaid in time. So redemption of the public debt is a process by which the government repaying its debt is called redemption of public debt. So there are few methods here I am going to mention you. So methods of public debt redemption. Number one, sinking fund. It refers setting aside money periodically. And budgetary surplus, using surplus revenue to pay off debt. Refinancing, issue new bonds to pay old one. Debt conversion, replacing high interest debt with low interest debt. So these are all the different methods of debt redemption. It's very important. So now I am going to explain you about the management of public debt. So here the government has different strategies for debt management. So number one, maintaining debt sustainability, controlling the debt to GDP ratio, efficient tax revenue collection. Okay, reduce reliance on debt. To reduce reliance on debt, the government nowadays increasing the tax revenue by collecting the taxes regularly and introducing some new kind of tax also. Proper utilization of borrowed funds, avoiding wasteful expenditures. So foreign debt management, ensuring repayment without economic strain. So these are all the various strategies for the government to maintain debt management. So now I am going to give you, I am going to conclude this presentation with a short conclusion. Public debt is a crucial financial tool for the economic development. Every country, each and every country has its own agenda. Okay, every government has its own agenda to make economic development. They have own policies and programs. Okay, so without this, it is not possible. So now it must be managed efficiently to avoid economic risk. Even though you know very well about our neighboring countries also recently the economy collapsed because of the huge public debt. Okay, so that also the example. So maintenance of the public debt is also one of the important task of the government. So sustainable borrowing helps in long run economic growth. Okay, so let me conclude this presentation, and I would like to say thank you for your patient listening. So do like and comment my presentation. Thank you.